Hi, I'm Allie Walker with eXp Realty.
And I'm Keela Chimovich with Contemporary Mortgage.
So today we're going to talk about one of our favorite topics that we're expanding upon is how to stay competitive in this market. What can you do to get your offer accepted outside of the norm, and which seems to be pretty standard, which is no appraisal contingency or being willing to pay above appraisal if there's a gap in a short inspection window, or perhaps closing quickly. What other things can we do to make our offers more competitive?
People are having to do a lot now to stand out. And I'm going to name a few things that I've seen in the last few weeks that I never thought I would see, but they are working, so I think it's worth mentioning. I've seen the no financing contingency. Okay, that sounds great because it looks like a cash offer, but I have had people say, all right, well, the best deal for me is to go FHA because FHA will not be accepted, but a cash offer will be. Now you're rolling the dice on, well, just how good of an appraisal am I going to get?
Right.
Now, I can do an FHA deal, start to finish within 2 weeks, yes. A little more
That's
stressful.
impressive.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to be on it. You have to be on it, and we just finished one yesterday, just for what it's worth. But I mean, they actually came in $25,000 low, so we're like, okay, put 3.5% down, make up the difference because the seller's not going to let you get away with it. And she also had to let the seller stay in the house for 60 days post closing, so they could really take their time to move out, or for who knows what they're going to do. That's like, look, arguably you can let them do whatever they want to work something else out, but legally you have up to 60 days on VA, FHA, conventional loans.
And a lot of that's happening because sellers know they need to get rid of their property during this time, but the problem is then finding their home, and it's not just necessarily buying a new house. Like that's a challenge, but even finding something to rent is becoming a challenge.
That's true, or then maybe saves them on a storage space cost right there. So you really have to hook the sellers up. I mean, even another thing I'm seeing is that buyers are picking up the seller's closing costs. Like, okay, I'm willing to go up this much above the asking price, so now I'm going to put a minimum down payment just so I can take care of the financing aspect. But now I'm going to let you stay here for a little bit longer. Oh, and I'm also going to pay your realtor. I'm going to pay all the realtor fees, if you will. I've even seen that take place, which is... Yeah, drives up closing costs, but I mean, they get the house. And in a lot of cases, it ends up being a better deal than what their rental situation was, which is
that's the thing.
Quite crazy when you think about it.
That's the thing. I mean, I'm always around all the different parts of Florida, and I was looking at potentially like renting, an apartment towards South Florida, and the rent was double what I pay in my mortgage, and I can't fathom that. It was about $2,800, $3,000 for a 2-bedroom, and I'm like, I have a whole house.
and no tax write-off either. At least with owning the place, like, okay, at least have that working.
Exactly.
Even with the increased standard deduction, not that I'm a tax specialist, but for what it's worth, like if you're spending that much on a house and you have this much more in closing costs, like okay, now you might actually start exceeding that. What's the term? Standard deduction.
I know,
right? You can tell I don't do that for a living. All right, I had that moment right there. But anyway, aside from that, there are companies that will step in and say, we'll make it like it's a cash offer for you, and then you work out a deal with them on the side, like, hey, well, maybe we'll charge you 1%, we'll make the offer, we'll work this out with the seller, but now you have to work something out with us, and maybe you go get a loan. Maybe you might be able to get the loan that might be more advantageous to you, instead of having to do the conventional loan. Maybe you're more of an FHA borrower, so now maybe you get the better mortgage insurance rate and then interest rate too, and lower down payment. That might actually work better for you. If it doesn't work out, then they're going to charge you a fee, probably somewhere like 2.75%, and they might give you a couple months to come up with a plan, or bye-bye, you no longer have a house.
Yeah.
So now you're out some money and you don't have a house, so be prepared. That would be my 2 cents.
I mean, I think, overall, the moral of the story here, too, is that if you are looking to buy, it's so imperative that you do have a lump sum of money saved. Obviously, you have your down payments. Yes, you have your closing costs. But unfortunately, right now, the standard is, you have to be willing to be able to throw some extra cash on the table to win.
And I would actually add this one final point, because you might think, hey, I have 20% down. Okay, I'll be able to put 20% down. I'll be okay. Well, if the appraisal's short, or you have to pay all these other costs for the seller just to get into the house, and now you're doing a minimum down payment. Now you might think, okay, let me go to the builder world. It's going to be set on a price right there. You're not seeing that anymore either.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're starting to say, well, we're gonna finalize the price when we're, let's say, within 45 days of closing. When it didn't used to be that way.
Yeah.
That used to be a safe bet for you.
Yeah, and actually one of my very good friends works for a builder, and she had to do that terrible phone call to several clients letting them know the prices had increased by $15,000 or $20,000. And that doesn't mean those people may not any longer, no longer actually be able to be approved for the property. So it's several more of those properties that were halfway built had to go back on the market because it's unfortunate.
I've seen 50 to 60K on some of these too. So depending on the builder, of course, but
of course,
it's a little more rough. So just make sure you have a contingency plan in place, and there are other options that do exist for you. Just try to hedge your bets, if you will. That would be my suggestion, if anything.
Yeah, so that's it for now. And then obviously as new things arise, which I'm sure they will, as we check on.
Yeah, I never thought we'd make this video.
Market, we will keep you posted and up to date. So thank you.
Thank you.